Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. It's time to look back at India's performance against South Africa on the pacey pitch at Perth. That's right, India lost their first game of the T20 World Cup against South Africa, but not without a fight, and not without a fight by their bowling, but also by Suryakumar Yadav. How often have we seen him do this year? He's been fantastic, by far the best T20 player in the world right now. Suryakumar Yadav just showing how to bat even on a surface like the one that we saw in Perth. But what are some of the key takeaways from that defeat? What can India learn from there? What are some of the questions that they need to answer in terms of wanting to move forward? We discuss all of that today on this special. Here with me to discuss this is Ashok Malhotra, former Indian cricketer, former selector. Thank you so much, Ashok sir, for taking the time out to talk to us. Now, there were a couple of things that you and I were discussing yesterday before the match began at the toss. And as soon as the game began, both of us said, okay, we were right in some of the things that we were talking about. Let's then look at the key takeaways from that loss for India. And the first one is that for an Indian team that believes mostly in chasing in the recent times, why is it that they went in with batting first after winning the toss? Your thoughts on that, sir?
See, Neha, first and foremost, let's tell our viewers that we are not trying to be clever after the event is over. The moment they took that decision, we all were saying, why? Because you have a strategy, you have a formula, and you have a history where you win the toss, put the other side in, and win the matches. And when you're talking about Perth, why would you change that strategy? Especially when you know your both openers are strong. Especially when you know they're a very formidable pace attack on the other side. So why would you do that? And setting a target is always difficult for Team India. We saw that even against Netherlands. Sure, Virat Kohli Yadav played a blinder there as well. That is why we managed to reach a respectable total. But initially, we were struggling with the bat. So I'm amazed. You know, it is not that we are being clever, because we talked about it yesterday also. So I think that something is amiss. You know, when you have a strategy, when you are winning matches, after winning the toss in, putting the side in, and plus, not to forget, we have got the best chaser in the world with us, Virat Kohli, who loves to chase the target. Once he gets the target, that is when the best of Virat Kohli comes out. So why would I do that? And it was a bouncing, pacey track. It was not a typical Rajkot wicket or Kotla wicket where you can put your foot down and smash them all over the park. It was not going to happen that way. And then, as we said, it's quick wickets fall, early wickets fall. Then what happens? Thankfully, Suryakumar Yadav is still there, alive and kicking, and he again came to the party. But otherwise, I think it was a very, very bad decision.
A lot of people then on social media, when I put this up, said, oh, you know, wouldn't the ball swing more under the lights? That was one reason for India wanting to bat first. The other one, I just want to bring it to your attention, and I want your reply to this. One is this, swinging deliveries under the ball, so under the lights, is that something that they looked at? The other being also that, you know, would you like to chase against an attack like the one that we saw? Isn't it better to set a target? Because chasing when Parnell and Ngidi and Rabada are bowling, wouldn't that be even more difficult? So how do you reply to these questions, these suggestions?
I would reply to those people with a simple reason. South African bowling is not a swinging ball. They are not the ones who swing the ball. They bowl with pace and bounce. Whereas the swing part belongs to Team India, you know, who can swing the ball around, as I showed second time around. So we shouldn't have been worried. And second time around, batting is always comparatively easier, and especially when you have a target. And you talking about swing, I'm not worried about South African. There's no Bhuvneshwar Kumar, there's no Arshdeep Singh in South African team. They've got Nokia, they've got Rabada, who are pacey, who have got bounce and pace, Nagini, who can bowl with a lot of fire, and Palm, maybe he can swing a bit but not as much. Couple of overs, So I wouldn't have been worried about them swinging the ball. I would have been worried about the pace of bounce because we gave them the fresh wicket. We gave them the wicket which has a lot of pace, a lot of bounce, and then they with their explosive bowling after they picked up a couple of early wickets, then they were into our middle order,
Yeah.
except for Surya Kumar Yadav. Everybody was at sea. They were all seemed to be struggling, except for Surya Kumar Yadav, who was seemed to be batting on a different wicket. But all in all, I think it was
Yeah.
I would say it is not in hindsight. He said it at that time also. And I repeat it again, you can't change your strategy. And that in a World Cup, and especially in a do or die.
Okay, then let's move on to the next one, which is why did India bring in Deepak Hooda? Was that something that you thought India should have done? I know that India would have wanted to go in with an extra batter, also because of the conditions. You have 4 seamers, including Hardik Pandya. You have 1 spinner. You really don't need spinners there on that kind of a pitch in Perth. We saw even with South Africa, where they left Shamshi out and got Lungi Ngidi in. But Deepak Hooda, was he the right choice, sir? Also because the question was, where are you going to get Deepak Hooda to bat? Deepak Hooda lower down the order hasn't been effective. They've tried it in the Asia Cup. In T20s, his average falls down, his strike rate falls down. I mean, look at that. The difference in his average when he's batting in the top 4 positions, where his average is 40, striking at 147, whereas, 5 onwards, it goes down to, average goes down to 19 and strike rate to 122. You clearly are not going to be able to play him in the top order. So then were they right in getting him lower down the order to bat?
See, the worst thing is, why would you change the pitch combination? And then why would you go in a crunch game with 5 overs? Like Ashwin went for very many. I know a cat who dropped out the bowling, but he went for very many. So then you were a bowler shot. If Aksar would have been playing, he would have been able to bowl his quota of overs. Maybe if not more, maybe 3 overs, 2 overs, but something he would have chipped in. If Deepak Hooda was included for his bowling, then why doesn't he never get scored, even when he's picked? And then if he was picked purely as a batter, if you wanted to make a change, then who better than Rishabh Pant? You are shattering the belief and the confidence of this young, brilliant cricketer, Rishabh Pant, who has been a proven batsman. But I would not have changed the team because Akshar Patel was doing his job, and plus he's a good enough batter at number 7 or 8. And as you very rightly said, Deepak Hooda is a good batter, batting at the top of the order. Batting at 7 is a different ball game. So I think that they made a mistake, and I'm just repeating it because for the viewers, if they have not seen us, they would have discussed this that time. And believe you me, Meha, if 6 batters will not perform, 7th batter will not perform either. You can't depend on the 7th batter. You can't strengthen your batting. That means you don't have belief in your batting line. So that is where things went wrong, because there's no use of changing your winning combination, and there's no use of changing your strategy when you chase the targets very well.
Okay, then. The other thing, sir, moving forward now, of course, lessons have to be learned, because India cannot afford to do it in the next 2 games after losing this one against South Africa. And that's where the playing 11, are there going to be any changes? Because the top order woes continue. And of course, Rohit Sharma scored a 50 in the tournament, a scratchy one, but KL Rahul coming into the tournament, he'd scored 2 50s against South Africa, but since then has struggled. Even yesterday was struggling. It's just, something's not right with the way KL Rahul's batting right now. He's failed yet again. 4 of 8 versus Pakistan, 9 of 12 deliveries versus Netherlands, and 9 of 14 versus South Africa. And just the strike rate is low, and Rohit himself also not as consistent as you'd like him to be. Do you think that India will look to try Rishabh Pant at the top? They've done it a couple of times before in England, but here in place of KL Rahul, or do you think that they'll stick with KL Rahul?
See, I think if they have any intention, because time is running out, Because after these two games, we are playing the same patterns. If they want to change, if they want to play Rishabh Pant, if you want to open with the Rishabh Pant, now is the time. Because one, it is the left-right combination. Then the role has to be defined to Rishabh Pant. Okay, you go in, you play your normal game. We are with you. You will be here till the World Cup. That will give him the belief and the confidence. And then let him lose. Let's unleash Rishabh Pant on rest of the teams. And he's a capable guy. He's a winner. The good thing is he knows how to win the matches. When he plays, he wins the matches from nowhere. And that is what his strength is. And he's a natural striker of the ball, which KL Rahul is a good player. I would not take it against him. But as of now, he's putting too much pressure on him. He seems to be struggling with the bat. And when you start struggling, then your feet movement becomes very faulty, and plus the belief goes away. And that is what has happened to KL Rahul. But if they want to play Rishabh Pant, now is the time. The next game is the time, because then he'll get enough matches, Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, and then on to the semi-final. You can't have him straight into the semi-final and tell him to go and deliver for us. It is not going to happen.
Which is my point then, even with Deepak Hooda as well. If there was one match that you had to play him, it didn't have to be on the bouncy track in Perth. I mean, you would then want to go in, despite the fact that Rishabh Pant hasn't been really performing in T20 internationals, you'd still want the experience of Rishabh Pant in Perth over Deepak Hooda.
Yeah, definitely. I'm amazed. Believe you me, first they put him down the pecking order for Dinesh Karthik. Now he's down the pecking order for Deepak Hooda. And he's probably, I'm not belittling those two, but record says he's a much better cricketer than those two. They have yet to prove themselves in the international arena, whereas this guy has done it all. So he's won you matches from nowhere, he's won you matches where nobody expected us to win. And this kind of a guy, this kind of a temperament, this kind of ability, how can you keep him up? That is why I keep saying Rahul Dravid is a very, very old-fashioned coach who does not want to take chances. And if I would be Rishabh Pant, I'll be hurting. And believe you me, he'll be hurting and will be losing the belief, because he's a natural striker of the ball. Yeah. He depends on his instincts, and you are curbing his instincts, because now, till you don't define his role, till you don't tell him that you are there till the end, I think he'll be looking over his shoulder. Okay, is this my last game? So that is what's going to happen.
Okay, then let's talk about Surya Kumar Yadav and how good was he. Just to see him come at a time when India were tottering at 49 for 5, South African pacers were breathing fire. There was no respite really, except for Keshav Maharaj, who he targeted and played him very well. But to be able to not just stick around till the end, but also, or almost till the end, but also to be able to bat like that, sir. I mean, there is method to his madness, but somehow it's still crazy to see what he can do. He was striking at 170, whereas David Miller and Aiden Markram were striking at 120 odd. I mean, how does one describe Surya Kumar Yadav's batting?
See, the way he's playing as of now, he seems to be a different planet. He doesn't seem to be, he's an alien, believe you me. Because if somebody, we are always in awe of Rohit Sharma's batting or Virat Kohli's batting. But those two are in awe of Surya Kumar Yadav's batting, because I think Virat Kohli enjoys watching from the other end, because he's got the best seat in the stadium. He enjoys his batting. He enjoys because when your teammate plays like that, it's amazing to say the least. And not to forget, it's his first tour of Australia. And in Perth, he was playing for the first time on that bouncy wickets. It is not Indian wickets, it's on bouncy wickets he's playing. And he's looking the same player. He's looking a phenomenal player. We never imagined, we were in awe of A.B. de Villiers. But I think now the entire world is in awe of Surya Kumar Yadav. Every team in the team meeting must be discussing how to get rid of this player. They must not be discussing Virat or Rohit or KL Rahul or Hardik Pandya. They'll be discussing only Surya Kumar Yadav. And this is how impressive he is. He is by far, as you very rightly said, the best T20 player in the world as well.
And also just the way he targets bowlers, sir. There is, like I said, there is method to that madness. It's still madness, but there is a little bit of method because he knows exactly at what point to target. He's created his game in such a way that he has 4 shots for every delivery, which is what I think he said in one of the interviews as well, where he's worked so hard on his game and trying to be innovative with every delivery because he wants to score off every delivery, that it's so difficult for a bowler to figure out what to bowl to him next after he's been hit for a 6 or a 4. I mean, he just disrupts the opposition's plans.
He plays with the minds.
Yeah.
You know, he plays with, because he plays with the mentality of the bowler. Bowler doesn't know because quicker he bowls and he uses the pace of the ball. You know, over third man, over fine leg. And those shots he plays are manufactured by him only. They are no more. They are never in any coaching man.
Yeah.
And the great thing about him is the way he announced his arrival when he hooked Jofra Archer for 6, his first T20 game. First ball, he hit it out the bar. He announced his arrival. He's waited for too long. He was, but when he came, he announced his arrival with a bang and never looked back. And not that, as you very rightly said, he's very innovative. Yeah. He's got shots for 2-3 shots for everything. And he's fearless. The good thing about him is he's fearless. I hope they don't try to curb his fearlessness.
Yeah.
Because he's an amazing, amazing player who can play over covers, who can play over mid-wicket. And there's what a lap shot over third man. And then, paddle sweeps for a 6 over a fine leg. Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen these shots. We talk about that Virat shot, but what the shots which Surya Kumar plays is unbelievable. And yesterday, he was as if he was playing on a different wicket. He was playing on an Indian wicket, whereas all our batters were jumping around. Yeah. Trying to weave and duck and weave out of the harm's way. But he was different. He had a shot for every shot, be it Nokia, be it Rabada, be it Nagini. He was there for everybody, and they were all, if I may say, whatever little cricket I've seen, they were kind of intimidated by it. To intimidate this kind of a pace attack on a Perth-like wicket is phenomenal. And as I said, he seems to be an alien. He's in a different world altogether as of now.
Absolutely. Now, so India ended up setting a target of 133, and you felt that maybe they were around 20 to 30 runs short. But Indian bowlers came back and they bowled beautifully. And I think we've got to give credit to the way Arshdeep came and bowled to get 2 wickets in your first over that you're bowling against South Africa. And what was fascinating to see is what you were talking about earlier on in the show, sir, that while the South African bowlers were using pace and bounce, Indians found swing early on, and they were difficult to play as well. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, how good has he been in this tournament? I mean, I was just seeing one of the stats that stands out for me about Bhuvneshwar Kumar, sir. 7.2 overs of dot balls in 10.4 overs that he's bowled. This is incredible for Bhuvneshwar. I mean, this trio, and there were so many questions around them. They've been phenomenal in the tournament. India may have lost that game, but kudos to the way Indian bowlers, these 3 bowled, Mohammad Shami, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and of course, Arshdeep Singh.
See, one movie has surprised all of us. We never expected him. He looked a shadow of himself when he went, and we did discuss about it. But I think he is, the wickets have suited his kind of bowling, and he's got the swing, which he was not getting in India. And once he starts swinging, and that pace he gets in Australia, he's unplayable. And when you talk about Arshdeep Singh, I think it has been a lucky break for Team India that Harshal Patel got injured and we included Arshdeep in the side, and he has never looked back since. And especially against South Africa, he's phenomenal. We bowled them out for 80-something in India, where Arshdeep picked up, again he got Riley Rosso for 0, and even Quinton de Kock. He loves to bowl to left-handers. And I think they must be shivering in their shoes when they play against him, because then he swings the ball both ways. It is not one way. He swings it both ways, and he at quite a brisk pace. So they are good. And basically, when we left our shows, we were worried about the bowler.
Yeah.
But since Shami has joined it, Shami has come in, it has added muscle to our bowling. It has added strength to our bowling. And now we are as formidable bowling attack as any side, be it Pakistan, be it Australia, be it New Zealand, be it England, whosoever. But we are at par. Our bowling is at par. But it is our batting which is letting us down. So that is where, if we have to win the World Cup, our batting has come to the party. And I was not hopeful that Team India can win. But now I'm hopeful that Team India can win. Only they have to fine-tune a little bit of their team, and then we'll be up and running and probably bringing T20 World Cup.
Absolutely. And also, sir, because it was such a slow scoring game and the margin of error had to be small, fielding also was something, and we know how much fielding can make a difference. But in this one, it clearly came down to that being one of the differentiating factors yesterday, where India could have won had Virat Kohli taken that catch of Markram in the 12th over. We saw what Markram was doing. Then on top of that, there was a very easy run-out chance that Rohit Sharma missed. He had all three stumps in sight. He could have even run and just broken the bails, but it wasn't to be. So that's something that you just have to live with as a team. But I think what India would be feeling after this is that, look, we were 49 for 5. From there to get to a respectable total and make a match of it, they would still be okay with the results, do you think? I mean, of course, nobody likes a loss.
See, when you left these shows, our batters were worried how many runs we have to put on board, so our bowling can defend. Now the bowlers are worried how many runs our batter will put on board, so we can defend it. And as you very rightly said, fielding left a lot to be desired. Virat, normally these are the catches out of 100 catches, 99 times we'll take that catch. But that is one off kind of a thing. And that run off, when you can see 3 wickets. And not to forget that catch which fell between Surya Kumar and Rohit Sharma. That was another option. So we let our side down. But I think, Miha, the worst thing is we are missing Ravindra Jadeja. Because at point, Ravindra Jadeja was like checking the flow of runs, putting pressure on. And the stage where South Africa was. Imagine a team with Ravindra Jadeja and point, Surya Kumar covers, or Virat covers, and Hardik Pandya at pickoff. That is a phenomenal side which can check the single. But now we have a side which cannot check the singles. Surya Kumar is trying manfully, but he's no Ravindra Jadeja. Rohit Sharma tries, but he's no Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli has to field on the fence to save the boundaries. And even Hardik Pandya has to go. So we are missing those guys who can check the signals, who can put pressure on the batters, which can, once you check the flow of runs, it puts pressure on the batters and then they tend losing quickly. So that is what is missing. Catches, yes. I would say it was one bad day in the office, maybe he missed a catch. I'm sure he must be regretting that also, Virat. But the fact is, those singles, we are missing somebody like Jadeja, who's lightning quick, who can hit the stump from anywhere. Those are a few things which we are lacking, and our fielding as of now is particular.
At one point, I thought that maybe Akshar Patel had a niggle or something, and that's why they had him out. But I did see him fielding as a substitute. So clearly, he is fit. It was just a decision that they wanted to go in with an extra batter in Deepak Hooda. And that's why they went in with him. Now, sir, I don't know if you've seen this, but I am going to tell you and the viewers. Today in the morning on Instagram, there's a video of Virat Kohli's room where he's gone in, where the photographer or the person who shot the video has gone into Virat Kohli's room. Now, it seems like it could be somebody from the hotel staff who've gone in and they've shot his whole room. It's a video that started getting, obviously, which started going viral. So what Virat Kohli has done now is that he has posted that video on his Instagram account saying that you need to respect my privacy and this is not done. And written a long note. How do you, to be dealing with something like this in the middle of a World Cup, you know, and the impact this might or might not have. You know, this is, everybody can see your room, and you know what's in the room. I don't know, how do you react to this? Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, it isn't very practiced. You can't, you know, a bedroom is a private place. You don't get into anybody's bedroom. You don't do that. I'm sure, but these modern day superstars are used to it. I feel sorry for them because they can't interact with people. They are always surrounded by the security people. The floors they stay, they're cordoned off. So you know, during our time, we could meet, our friends could come and all that, but not anymore. And social media as a, you know, they're having a field day. So sometimes they're not worried about who is playing cricket, who's playing good cricket or bad cricket. They're more worried about your personal life. That is what you know, hurts me, and it must be hurting Virat.
Yeah.
Good, he put it on Instagram and tells them this is my room, but I'm sure he wouldn't have.
Yeah, he didn't need to do it, and obviously this is like an extra thing. So he said, I understand that fans get very happy and excited seeing their favorite players and get excited to meet them, and I've always appreciated that. But this video here is appalling, and it's made me feel very paranoid about my privacy. I mean, look at the use of word paranoid. I cannot have privacy in my own hotel room. There, where can I really expect any personal space at all? I am not okay with this kind of fanaticism and absolute invasion of privacy. Please respect people's privacy and not treat them as commodity for entertainment. And it's a complete video of his room. You can see everything. I mean, all the things that he probably uses, whatever. So, yes.
May I not to forget, it happened in Australia. Imagine what would have happened in India.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, where they're bigger than life.
Yeah. And where do you stop this? How does this get stopped? I mean, what is the next thing? You already reached a player's hotel room. What are you going to do next? It's crazy, the kind of times that we live in. But there is a match on, sir, at 1:30 p.m. Australia and Ireland have chosen to field. What are you expecting from this game, sir? Quickly before we wrap this up. Sorry, we had no time for this.
I think it's going to be tight because Australia is also have if South Africa got Bahuma, Australia has that. So they are not expecting good start. Only thing that they can hope is that David Warner comes to the party. He has to play well if Australia has to reach the semi-finals or play.
Right.
So I expect a good game, good tight game, and if they put 180 runs or 170, 180 runs, then I think it will go Australia all the way. But you can never stamp out.
The good news is that that Adam Zampa is back for Ashton Agar. This is what Aaron Finch said in at the toss. So Adam Zampa is back, and Matthew Wade is playing as well. Remember, both of them got COVID positive, but Adam Zampa had missed the last game, and the last game, of course, was washed out. But that's it, Ashok sir. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
Okay, News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.